Alright, welcome back to the shop. Got my coffee here, got the fork warming the place up. Today we're going to continue on with our Damascus knife, and we're going to take these parts that we've made for our bolster and our pommel, and we're going to pin them to the knife, and then we're going to take them over here to the angle grinder and shape them up kind of where we want them. And then because these have got to be shaped and in position before we can do our wood that's going to go in the center section here, and we need to grind our bevels in, but these need to be pretty much in place where they're going to be, so I can figure out where I want to start my plunge lines here for our bevels. So that's what we've got on the docket for today. I'd like to try to get the majority of this knife done today. We still have to heat treat and temper this knife, but we've still got some grinder work to do up in here to clean that up a little. We got to get these on and get them ground where we want them, because once we put our wood on, that wood will grind so much easier than this aluminum alloy that we'll end up chewing our wood way down and not moving much of the aluminum. So I want to get those pinned on and get those ground into shape pretty much where they're going to be, and then we'll get our bevels ground in. We'll get our finish grinding and smoothing done, and then we'll take it back apart. We will heat treat it, then we'll temper it, then we'll clean it up a little bit again, and then we'll get on with etching it again and getting ready to do our final bevels, and we'll get on with our handle. And there's still a lot of work to be done on this knife. So after quite a bit of grinding and shaping, we've pretty much got our bolsters here and our pommels aluminum shaped up where we want it. Now we're going to work on this clip point, clean that up a little, and get our bevels ground, and then I think our knife is ready for heat treat. So it's coming along. We'll be there directly. I think the aluminum's going to look pretty good on this knife with the, it's going to set it off with the etched blade and the wood in the center, and this will be real bright and shiny. This will be all polished up, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So we got our bevels roughed in here. We went to 120 grit. Kind of cleaned it up a little. Got our aluminum on. I think I cleaned this clip point up here a little. You know, there'll be a lot of hand finishing on this knife. The nature of the beast, the way it happens. So I think it's time to unpin these. Get this thing heat treated and tempered. And then we can come back and get our handle put on finally, permanently, our permanent handle, and do the finish work on this thing, our final grinds on our bevel, get it etched, you know, and get all our finish stuff done. So I'm going to get these pins knocked out of here and get this all separated again so we can heat treat this thing. Well, I almost screwed up. You can see I started to heat the knife, and I no sooner put it in there and it dawned on me I hadn't drilled my holes for my wood in my tang yet. And if we heat treated this knife before we did that, it won't drill. You know, that once it's hardened, of course we're not trying to harden the handle, but it inherently hardens up pretty well, and you'd never be able to drill it after that. So glad I remembered this. Get our 1/4-inch holes drilled here for our wood that goes on our tang. This part drilled fairly easily because it's you can see it was back here where it didn't really get any heat on it. But this one might be a different story. We'll see. Kind of got some temper lines in it there. Nope, she's gonna drill. And I'm glad I remembered that before I got too far. She didn't harden up. Gotta redo it. Stayed straight. not where I'd like it to be, and I don't understand why. That's what we're looking for. Alright, we got her that time. Wow, third time's a charm. So that was kind of strange. I never had that. The only thing I had to re-temper was that hammer that I made, but that's kind of crazy how just heat treating brought out those colors, brought out that pattern again, because that was all clean ground with 120 grit, and heat treating it kind of brought the pattern out again. I mean, that's nothing like it'll look when it's etched, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll go get this thing all tempered, a couple of cycles at 450 in the oven, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, you guessed it. We're starting on another knife here. We've got to make a knife. Got to make a knife for my buddy Bob. You remember in a previous video I said that I didn't want to give him that knife because it looked like it looked like a kitchen knife. So here we are. I cut out another piece of leaf spring, and we're starting on this one while we're tempering the other one. Alright, we are going to heat this thing up. Stick it in a vise and squeeze it in there. Although it's pretty dang straight, I don't know. I just kind of like to heat it up and stick it in that vise, you know, and just give it a good squeeze, slide it back, squeeze it, make sure it's flat. So we'll do. Well, I think we're nice and straight. And there she is. Well, all right, guys, so we got one knife being tempered, one annealing over here. You know, when you come to the point where you're going to temper your knife that you're working, it's 2 hours of 2.5 hours that you have, you know, nothing to do. So I decided I'd get started on this knife for Bob. That first one, that one with the brown handle, that big, it just looked like a kitchen knife, man. I couldn't sell it to him. So we started on this one for him. Much better. It looks much better. And now we're going to go and finish the temper on that other one. That'll probably be it for today. This will be a combination video, so look for it here directly. I sure appreciate you joining me in the shop today. Had a good time, got quite a bit accomplished. You know, you get down to this finish work on like on this Damascus, and it's just so meticulous and tedious, and trying to get those little parts all the perfect shape and size, and it's very time consuming. You know, you don't think that we did very much, but that aluminum alloy grinds real slow. It's hard to grind. It was hard to clean that up on the grinder and get those shaped right. And they're still not done. I need to pin them together and make sure that the edges are completely even and what have you still. So we'll do that in the next video, I guess, and try to finish up that handle. But yeah, we have another hour. I got to go up and put that other knife in for another hour now, that Damascus. So well, that one's tempering. It'll be ready for us to start grinding on it and stuff in the next video too. So thanks for being here. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Wear your safety glasses and your mask. When you're grinding, wear that mask, man. I'm telling you. I've had a couple episodes where I didn't put it on, and I coughed and hacked for 2 days, and I'd blow my nose, and it was just black stuff coming out. It looked like I was a coal miner. So get out in your shop and do something. Have a good time. That's what I do. Just have fun. And we'll see you on the next one.